You might think your thoughts are your own, but if you really look at them, they're usually just the conclusions other people reached for you. Not because you're weak, but because you were trained and conditioned to trust authority more than your own mind. And here's the part that gets really interesting. Free thinking has nothing to do with being atheist or religious. Free thinking doesn't mean thinking like me or any other person in the world. But what it does mean is reclaiming the ability to trust your own mind without guilt, without fear, and without needing someone else to approve your thoughts. It's all about having a free mind. Let's talk about it. Free thinking is rare because most of us grow up learning to follow instructions long before we ever learn to trust our own thoughts. Just think about school for a second. From the moment you're old enough to hold a pencil, you're handed a curriculum, a pre-approved list of what's true, what's important, and what you're supposed to memorize. You're not rewarded for original thought. You're rewarded for matching the answer key. You're trained to pass tests, not to question the material, and you learn very quickly that the safest path to acceptance and good grades is to repeat and to memorize, not to think for yourself. And when you spend 12 years being graded on how well you follow instructions, it's no surprise that free thinking is very rare. Most people were never taught how to think, only what to think. And school isn't the only place that this happens. For a lot of us, religion takes that same pattern and turns it up even higher. In religious environments, the answers aren't just correct, they're sacred and holy. You're not encouraged to explore them. You're encouraged to accept them. Doubt isn't treated like curiosity. It's treated like danger, and questioning isn't a step toward understanding. It's a step toward punishment, guilt, or being labeled as losing your faith. So instead of learning how to think, you learn how to protect the beliefs that you were handed. You learn how to defend them, repeat them, and never really challenge them. And when a belief system ties your identity, your community, and your morality to obedience, it becomes almost impossible to trust your own thoughts over the authority above you. This is not because you're weak, but because you were conditioned to believe the truth comes from outside of you and not from within you. And once fear gets installed in your thought processes, you don't need anyone standing over you anymore. You police your own thoughts. You learn how to censor yourself. You become your own gatekeeper without ever even realizing it. That's why free thinking is so rare. Not because people lack intelligence, but because fear and rigid thinking have been running the show for so long, they don't even recognize the impact it has on their minds. So, what does free thinking actually look like? Well, it's not rebellion, it's not being contrarian, and it's not swapping one belief system for another. Free thinking is when your thoughts finally belong to you. It's when you stop asking, what am I supposed to think? And you start asking, what do I actually see? What do I actually know? It's the shift from memorizing answers to generating your own. It's letting curiosity replace fear. It's letting evidence matter more than authority. It's separating your identity from your beliefs so that you can update them without feeling like you're betraying yourself. Free thinking isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It's quiet clarity. It's the moment you realize you don't need permission to question anything, including the thoughts you've been carrying your whole life. It's all about being true to yourself. So, how do you get fear and conditioning out of the driver's seat of your mind? You don't fight it. You expose it and you drag it into the light. Fear only works when it feels unquestionable. The moment you shine a light on it, it starts to shrink and it has less power over you. Start with one simple question. What exactly am I afraid will happen if I think for myself? Say it out loud. Write it down if you have to. Name the threat and face the fear. Most of the time, the fear isn't real. It's inherited. It came from someone else's rules, someone else's authority, someone else's consequences, and someone else's ideas. Then ask the second question. Who benefits from me being afraid? Now stop. Really think about that answer. Because once you see who is holding the leash, you realize you're the one who has the power to break that chain. Because fear is never neutral. It always serves someone, and it's almost never you. It's used to control you. And finally, what if nothing bad happens? Well, that's the moment fear loses its grip. Not when you become fearless, but when you stop treating fear like a command and start treating it like a suggestion that you don't have to follow. And once fear and rigid thinking stop calling the shots, something incredible happens. Your mind finally becomes yours again. Not your pastors, not your teachers, not your parents, not your communities, but yours and yours alone. You see, free thinking isn't about rejecting everything that you were taught. It's about reclaiming the ability to decide what's true for yourself. It's the ability to think critically and to trust yourself. It's the moment you realize that you're allowed to update your own beliefs. You're allowed to change your mind, and you're allowed to grow past the limits that you inherited. Self-ownership isn't loud. It's not rebellious. It's not dramatic. It's quiet confidence. It's clarity. It's the steady, grounded feeling of knowing I can trust my own mind now. And this is what freedom is all about. And once you feel that, even for a second, you'll never go back, because nothing is more powerful than a person who finally realizes that they're allowed to think for themselves, to be comfortable in their own skin. So in the end, Free thinking isn't about being right. It's about being real and true to yourself. It's choosing clarity over comfort, curiosity over fear, and autonomy over obedience. Most people never get there because they can't, because they never realize they're allowed to. But you do. You're here, you're questioning, and you're waking up to your own mind. And once you taste that kind of freedom, even for a moment, you don't go back, because nothing is more powerful than a person who finally thinks for themselves. Now, if you like this type of content and you want to support my channel, please like, subscribe, and comment. I always want to hear from you, and I read every single comment. And also, please click that notification bell. It really does make a difference. And if you want to support my channel in a small financial way, you can buy me a coffee. The link is in the description. Until next time, folks, think rationally, trust yourself, and be happy.